my name is Shiva and today I will be reading the Heaven story of Rumor. Let's begin. It all starts with a fish. A tiny, colorful fish, weaving in and out of the coral reefs in a clear blue ocean. This is long before humans began to pollute it and fill it with oil and trash. The fish was on the water near a small village where fishermen went out daily to hunt and catch for their families. This fish was blue, just like the ocean it lived in. But there was a big red stripe right through the middle of it. This fish didn't have a name, it was one of many. And it lived and it died just like everything else. One day, the little fish was caught by a fisherman's daughter. She picked up the fish out of the water and watched it flap around in her hand. She thought it was pretty. So she took a big bowl from her family's room and filled it up with seawater and put the fish inside. She took it home and begged to keep it. She promised she'd take care of it. Eventually, her parents relented. They got her a small fish bowl, and she filled it with things that she found in the sea. Little bits of coral, rocks, sand, and seaweed. She put the fish inside. She fed it twice a week, and she kept it by her window. Every time something went wrong or something made her unhappy, she would talk to the fish and tell it all her problems. And the fish silently swam around the bowl and listened to her. Of course, it never talked back, but she didn't mind. She just needed somewhere to put those feelings. Then one day, as all things do, the fish died. The girl was absolutely devastated, and she cried for a long time before her parents could convince her to let the fish go. She poured out its bowl, full of now tears and seawater, back into the ocean, and the fish went with it. Every day for a month, she went down to the beach and sat in the sand as the waves lapped over her feet and talked to the sea. She imagined her fish was in there somewhere, still listening. Then, one day, the sea spoke back. It raised out of the water in the shape of a woman that looked much like her mother, and held out a hand to cut her face, and told her that she should not be so sad, that the fish had told her all about the things the little girl had said, and that the ocean wanted her to be happy. And the little girl sat and spoke with the ocean for what must have been hours until the sun was setting and her parents were calling her home. Not long after, the family packed up and moved to another village. But she never forgot the way the ocean spoke to her. Not until she was very, very old. When she knew she was dying, her joints were creaky, her heart not beating like it used to, and her lungs rattled with every breath she took. For the last time, she shuffled her way down to the sea after having said goodbye to her children and having said goodbye to the parents that were long gone. She kneeled in the water until it was lapping at her shoulders, and she embraced the ocean, and it embraced her back and swept her away. When she opened her eyes again, she was a fish, small, blue, with a bright red stripe straight through the middle.
Okay.
Questions?
Yes. I have a question. My first question is, who is Rumor in relation to this story?
He's both the woman and the fish.
That's what I thought. But I wanted to ask it anyway. So, how can Rumor best make use of this image, of this parable?
Well, the idea is that the woman pours her soul into this fish, and the fish then returns to the ocean, and the ocean in turn takes all her worries and embraces her. And when the woman dies, she goes back to the ocean and is reborn as a fish. So the story kind of represents the cycle of rebirth and how we are connected to everything in a way. So in the way that she took care of the fish, and in turn it took her worries and her pains and grievances, which is why it died, because it was carrying that burden for her, as so many pets do, she in turn now gets to be that fish. You know? And so the way that this is useful for Rumor is that it sort of shows him as well that the importance of sharing your burden. The importance of finding something or someone, even a pet, it doesn't have to be a person, to share the burden with, or to have the burden shared with him. Because we can't carry all of our issues alone, sometimes we need someone to help. And it's sort of, the story is sort of telling him to open up. To find even the smallest thing that he can open up to, and in turn be taken care of. And in turn be opened up to.
Okay. So, my experience with Heaven Stories so far is that they have a lot of deeper quality, deeper meaning. So, usually it's not just one idea, you say, oh, I got it, then you move on. So, my experience, it is important to visit the Heaven Story again and again and again to really discover the deeper secrets. So where, at what point would be a good starting point for Rumor to begin to dive deeper into the story, to retrieve deeper treasures?
I think that the most important point for him to focus on is the point where the girl meets the ocean, and where the ocean embraces the woman in her death.
Okay, so that's good start point to dive into the energy.
Yes, those are the most important points for him to focus on if he wants to use this Heaven story to make spiritual progress. Because the rest of it is just general advice, more physical advice, more like open yourself up. But these 2 points specifically are the most crucial to his spiritual growth.
Okay, last question. How can he retrieve? Oh my God! How can he retrieve out of that story something that he can share, like a hidden gift for others?
I think he needs to talk to the fish.
Talk to the fish. That's good. Yeah. These are the questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you soon. Bye bye.